Good Tuesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. On behalf of Weigel's, that's fuel and food, that's fast, fresh, and friendly. Here's a weather and Weigel's update. Let's start off with Weigel's because I got to tell you, the all-new brownie batter milk is flying off the shelves. I would imagine not only is it chocolatey, not only is it like double chocolatey, in my view, it's triple chocolatey. It's just delicious. And if it reminds you of the time that maybe your finger got into the bowl when Mom was making brownies in the kitchen, this is what we're talking about. The brownie batter milk, it's delicious, and it's only around for a limited time. If you go to Weigel's, it's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24, and it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Nobody in Tennessee, I think, would argue with that. It's just the all-new brownie batter milk. Got to pick up a bottle today. In fact, pick up 2 bottles. I think you'll be most impressed, as I am. This is delicious, and of course, Weigel's always thinking outside of the box, or in this case, thinking outside of the brownie batter. I love it. They're just awesome. By the way, we have a little bit of fog in some areas, visibility down to a mile in Middlesboro. Gray areas might be of concern, but otherwise it's the haze. And we're going to talk about smoke here in a moment, too. Oh, and by the way, should I say ragweed season is just beginning? Some of us might be wheezing and sneezing for that as well. But we have 73 degrees, current temperature here at 6:42 in the morning. Knoxville, McGee-Tyson, 73. You look at places like Crossville, 66, and the current temperature in Madisonville is at 70. I want to say good morning to you. If you're on the call, I've got ways to put you on my screen. I am on YouTube and Facebook. Would love to hear from you. If you've got a comment, let me hear from you. 72 degrees currently in Morristown. If you have a weather observation, I think a lot of folks would benefit from what you see if you've got some fog or if you've got a cool temperature. It is humid, though. Dew points are still around 70 in many cases, maybe a little less humid there in Jamestown. Their dew points at 64, but you could think of 70 as one of the higher benchmarks in terms of high stickiness or bad hair days. We've got this storm called Debbie. We're watching her from a distance. Debbie is not, I repeat, not going to affect East Tennessee. Outside of maybe some spots of rain as we head through the week, I don't expect today to be one of those days. Probably will just fall short of Bryson City or Asheville. A couple of little waves. As you can see, those little clouds trying to spin in here. But most of the heavy rain is going to be centered around South Carolina. And our fear, and it is a fear, our friends and neighbors in South Carolina could be picking up anywhere from 10, 12, 15. Weather Service said 20 to 25. Hurricane Center, up to 25 inches of rain. I mean, that's just crazy nuts. And when you talk about that kind of rain, it's obviously life-threatening. Water rescues will be common, and it could be very, very dangerous for anyone that might be headed down toward the beaches. It's not hyperbole. It's just a slow-moving system. As I indicated earlier this week and last week, I said the username was Debbie, the password was slow mover, and that's what you get with slow-moving storms. Nothing to see on the radar here locally. We expand the view, and you can see this is the storm. Last I checked, 5 o'clock this morning, the Hurricane Center has this storm 50 miles southwest of Savannah. That's the center. The center of this storm is about 50 miles southwest of Savannah, Georgia, or another way to look at it for a reference point, it's about 130 miles southwest of Charleston, South Carolina. But the bands just keep coming. It's like a fire hose. These little bands from this tropical storm, even though winds are at 45, it's not going to make any serious historic headlines for the winds. It's the fact that it's a slow mover and it's epic rainfall that's coming into parts of the Carolinas, especially South Carolina. As my premium members know, I was very fearful that South Carolina could get the worst of it in terms of the quantity of rain. Everybody's going to get rain in the southeast except maybe us, but the folks who are going to get the most of it may be centered over South Carolina. If you're on the call, would love to say hi to you. Again, if you have a comment, let me know. I got Fred here. He's got an observation. I don't think we'll mind covering up Savannah for just a second, but he says here, good morning, he's got 72 degrees in Maryville, and he's grabbing some coffee at Weigel's. Thank you, Fred, for that. Always appreciate your updates, and of course, Weigel's appreciates your support. And by the way, we look at our friend Danny. Go Vols, the big game, August 31st, end of this month. Can you believe it? It's almost time for football. He says, good morning, David. Hope you have a great day. Glad to have you here, Danny. And Linda Rice, one of my friends who says, good morning, have a great day. Glad to have Linda here as well. So always appreciative of your notes. One of the benefits of getting up early and watching this live stream live is that you can get your name up on the screen. By the way, today, 93. Current temperature in Knoxville, 93, not current. This is what I expect. This is my forecast. I've almost forgot where I'm here. 93 is where I expect to be this afternoon. Yesterday, it was 93 in Oak Ridge, and it was 91 in Knoxville. So low 90s were common yesterday. We're almost going to repeat that pattern today. Expect 90 in Sevierville, 92 in Morristown, and 91 in Crossville. So if you have any questions, heat index today should be in the mid to upper 90s. Much like yesterday, low 90s generally for the high, but when you talk about the feels like temperature, the heat index, it'll be closer to mid to upper 90s. And winds today should be pretty light out of the northeast, about 3 to 8 plus. They could gust a little higher, I would imagine, around the Smokies. By the way, other things to update you on. I had three, not one, not two, three of my premium members who were in the Maryville area that showed up yesterday for my Maryville presentation. Yes, that is the mayor. You mean you got the mayor of Maryville? Like, you're like a big deal. No, I'm just saying, Mayor of Maryville was kind enough, Andy White, to meet us for a Maryville presentation. As you may recall, over a period of about 14 months, I would go from town to town to town in East Tennessee, taking about 6 dozen pictures or 80 photos of a town, and I'd post on Facebook. And the Viewer's Choice Award goes to Maryville. And so I was blessed to have some of my premium members like Melissa Ross Burns and her husband Christian, who, by the way, coaches tennis at Maryville High School, and also Peggy Jackson, a local resident of Maryville. So we had a great time, and this is what the certificate looked like. Somebody said, what's this show? It says the 5th of August, Maryville, Tennessee, Blount County Certificate of Recognition. So this was the Viewer's Choice Award, and I wanted to share it with you because many of you either liked a spotlight, maybe you've commented on a spotlight. I did 40 of them, if you recall, if you've been watching me for a while. And so I thought this was like putting the cap on top of the cherry on top. So we just did a nice little recognition of Maryville yesterday, and I wanted to thank everybody who participated in these, because this started off with Seymour back in October of 2022, and I went from town to town to town to town, and all the ones, there were 40 choices. Maryville got the most votes. So I wanted to give Maryville the recognition that they were due, because a lot of folks either liked the spotlight because it covered things they hadn't seen, or maybe just reinforced the many beautiful things that Maryville has, like great coffee shops. They've got, of course, the world-class education at Maryville College. You got the very highly successful football program at Maryville High School, and so it goes. But again, we went all the way up to Harrogate, number 40. But we're going to be doing new fun things in the future, so I hope that you'll stay with us. As we look at the radar here at 6:48, very heavy rain and flooding continues in the Charleston, South Carolina area. But the fear is you get all the national media on that, and you think, is that coming here? And the answer is no. Maybe a few spots of rain, that's about it. So I want to show you the bigger picture. We've got rain in the Great Lakes. I've got severe weather concerns in parts of the Ohio Valley, maybe northern Ohio Valley, and more heat concerns. Parts of Mississippi and Louisiana today. But clearly, if you're in the path of Debbie's going to cause some real problems, no doubt. I'm watching your comments. If you have something new you want to share, I got Linda, I got Fred, I got Danny on here. And if you're watching, I'm watching on the phone too as I come back on camera. Got some things to pass along to you. Yesterday, we hit 91. Normal high and low, 88, 69. The record high today is 99 from 1935 and 1930. And the record low wasn't that long ago. It's 56 from 2017. And of course, the sun comes up, or did come up, about 1 minute ago. 6:48, goes to bed at 8:35. So a lot to cover and context, but I love to see your comments. And I'm looking at my phone. If you have a comment that you would like to share with me, I would love to hear from you as I continue on this path, because I got a lot of slides to share with you. And if you're with me through the end, you'll get some payoff here, because I want to get you more into specifics. Here's the future smoke. This has a lot of context or value. So I'm going to try and zoom back in here, because this, as we zoom in here, shows you a little bit more in the way of counties. Now, this is wildfire smoke. Now, if you follow the yellow brick road, somebody was asking me, where's this smoke coming from? I said from the north, multiple places. We've got smoke and wildfires out west. Yeah, it really looks bad from California, pluming up into Montana and Idaho. But when you look back here, there's been some wildfires in the north, and it's all been coming down. But watch the interaction of wildfire smoke with Tropical Storm Debbie. That's what we're looking at here, right? And as we zoom back in, you can see right through the heart. This is 7:30 this morning, right? This is future smoke, but this takes us into those plumes. Doesn't mean it's all at the surface, mind you. When it says vertically integrated, that's geek speak for the entire column of air. So when you see a beautiful sunrise or sunset, if it looks more hazy in composition, it's because we've got this wildfire smoke in yellow. And you can see it covers much of the plateau at 7:30 and right through parts of East Tennessee. But by midday, it might wane a bit because the yellow would be more moderate. But once you get to 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon, it's maybe still pretty noticeable if you're in Harriman, Wartburg, or even down toward Decatur. So I just want to point that out to you. It's not your imagination. It's not necessarily going to be, it's not like you're coming out of a burning home where smoke is at the surface. It's the entire column of air. So that's the vertically integrated smoke that we're looking at. And I find it fascinating because as we move into this evening, this is 1:30 in the morning, you can see how this would-be tropical storm has a role in spinning some of that smoke down toward Birmingham and down toward Atlanta. So it's interesting to see as it continues to maybe thin out heading into tomorrow. But we have a little bit in the air, and if you have observations, I'd love to hear it. By the way, the 90-degree days, they keep piling up, right? Because where were we yesterday? We hit 91. We averaged 10 days in August. That's just kind of a point of reference. 34 days is what we get per year. And if I did my homework, let me go back here real quick. I'll go back to the bottom of that slide. There it is. We've had 14 days in June, 15 days in July, and we've now had three days here in August. So that gives us to 32. I knew how we'd get to 32. So 32 is the number of 90-degree days we've had so far. We're closing in on the entire year's average, which is 34, and we've had now 2 1/3 inches of rain in August. That puts us about 7/10 above normal thus far. And I don't expect rain to be an issue today here locally. But when you look at the future rainfall, it's not probably until Friday. I have a 30% chance of rain. Best chance of rain will come in late this week. It's not to say you couldn't get a stray shower. We had a few of those yesterday. But this takes us through 5 o'clock Friday, and you can see it's maybe a little bit more in around the Smokies. But again, this is going to be contingent. This will be dependent on the final track of Debbie, which we're going to look at from the Hurricane Center. They had a 5 o'clock this morning update, and we'll show you what that looks like as well. But generally, it's going to be under 2/10, it would appear, across Knoxville going right through this week. As far as the 90-degree days, I mentioned 3. They're in gold there, Thursday, Friday, and then yesterday. That's where we are at the moment. If you've got a comment, let me know. Wanda Poe and Ed are here. I'm going to say hi to Ed. Ed says, good morning. Have a pleasant and dry day. Oh, we'll get that. Just make sure that you're aware. A little bit of smoke. Wildfire smoke might be in the air as well. Wanda Poe says, morning, David. So glad for some fall weather. She's waiting. She's hoping. I think she's on not only team snow, but she's on team fall. But thank you, Wanda. Always appreciate your comments. It is 6:53. My goal is to be done here in 7 minutes, or maybe one more extra minute, maybe 8. But we'll see. Wind speeds are moving at 6 miles an hour. Not much. We've got temperatures currently in the upper 60s in Johnson City, 75 in Chattanooga, and in Music City, Nashville, they're at 74 degrees. That's where we are. Dew points are around 70. Mentioned how sticky it is. And of course, the feels like temperature can actually go way up once it gets hotter in the day. But right now, it feels like it's 82 over there in Memphis. Feels like it's 10 degrees hotter there in Shelby County. Tracking the humidity. We call this the humidity tracker. We know it's going to drop this weekend. And you can see, at least in the short term, it's a lot of green on the screen. This is 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, midday tomorrow, 5 o'clock, no change. Really, it's not until maybe Thursday. It might drop a little bit in the mountains of western North Carolina, but I don't see it really dropping until we get into Saturday night and into Sunday morning, some big changes there. All the clouds you see today, going to be weird. We've got like a northeast wind at the surface. You got the bands or clouds associated with Debbie trying to roll in, but if it looks a little hazy, if it looks a little smoky, it's not your imagination. Sun will be setting tonight at 8:35. We are losing some minutes, no doubt, but 93 is what I expect, and that would be on par. My rain situation, should have taken that off there. That's an old slide there, but I can tell you the hazy, hot, and humid will be still a factor. And I want to mention, too, the bus stop. A lot of kids going back to school. I know that last week we had Hamlin County, we had Roane County, we had Cocke County. There may be new ones today. I know Cumberland County, I believe, is the 7th, which would be tomorrow. And then, of course, Knox County half day is on Thursday. So if you're going back to school, leave me a comment. Would love to say hi to you. 79 by 10 should be around 90 for pickup today if you are going to the schoolhouse today. 95 in Kingston, my expectation today. 91 in Crossville in the heart of Cumberland County. Here's Debbie. I've already covered that she's got winds of 45. But if you're looking for this thing to come over to Knoxville, you're going to be waiting a long time because it's going to go out to the sea, open water, come back toward Charleston, slow mover, drop over towards Charlotte, and then work its way northward. Notice the cone doesn't even include East Tennessee anymore. And that's exactly what I was telling my premium members on Sunday. I said, even though we're in the cone, boy, they had that blue line right over Knoxville on Sunday. I said, it's going to move east. And it did, and they readjusted, they calibrated, recalibrated. Once it moves over open water northeast of Boston, could become a little stronger, but that's Tropical Storm Debbie in a glance, and you could see the cone never really has an impact here, outside of some spots of rain. But as we head through the weekend, or this week, we could see another 5, 10, maybe 15 more inches in parts of South Carolina. It's, again, these models are not going to handle slow-moving tropical systems that well, but this takes us beyond the Debbie impacts. This takes us to August 22nd, and even still, 1.5 inches is on the lower end of the scale compared to a lot of our neighbors to the south and east. They've still got a lot of rain yet to come. And as far as today is concerned, we're going to continue to watch the hurricane season ramp up. It typically does so in late August this month and into September. We could check off Debbie, but our next named storm would be Ernesto. So if your name is Ernesto or Francine, or Gordon, you'd be the next name on the list. And right now there's a 30% chance that that storm, if it forms, would be in yellow, moving across parts of maybe toward the Yucatan Peninsula. Headlines as if we hit 657. Hazy, hot, humid today. Watching Debbie from a distance. Yeah, we got that. And spotty rain this week. That's the trend, but not much more than that. We have 71 degrees as we approach 7 o'clock. Dew point 70. Winds are light out of the northeast at 3 miles per hour. I'm expecting 93. And if you're keeping an hour-by-hour perspective, by midday today, it's going to be hot. It's going to be around 86 by the time we hit lunchtime this afternoon. Chance of rain might be spotty tomorrow and Thursday. Perhaps Friday is our best bet as that storm passes by to our east and works its way up toward New England. But the Storm Prediction Center has multiple spots of yellow, and they have nothing to do with Debbie. The areas in parts of Arizona, maybe even Montana, or even the Ohio Valley up maybe toward Pennsylvania, there are some areas that have some scattered severe storms today. Isolated severe storms may occur around South Carolina. Their biggest concern from Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Wilmington will be the flooding, but they could still get some stronger winds associated with that storm system, that tropical storm. Nothing to see here tomorrow. Of course, one patch of green would be around Cheyenne, Wyoming, maybe western Nebraska, and of course the beaches will still have some issues for severe weather. And you'll notice they put us under the general thunderstorm risk tomorrow. So again, 20% chance. I don't see much rain trying to move in tomorrow. They have nothing for us on Thursday, but they did highlight the spot in the Outer Banks for severe weather isolated on Thursday. So it really depends on where you might be traveling, but if you're staying put, you're not going to have any real issues from Debbie. Meanwhile, this storm moves along the East Coast. Cold front's going to help guide this storm away from us as it will slide further north, but there's a few pop-up green drops there midday tomorrow. You can see it does try and spin back in here maybe on Thursday as well with a few hit-or-miss showers like so. That's midday Thursday. And then it moves further north like so. So this is a system that we're watching her from a distance. She just doesn't have the impact for us. It's not that she's weakened over the next day or so. It's just the fact that it's going to be moving along the I-95 corridor. As far as the future cast is concerned, I mentioned midday, we could be easily around 86. That's a hot start to the afternoon. Finishing the day around 93, but it'll feel like the mid to upper 90s. Notice the green dots, they stay pretty much out of our reach. Moving into tonight, we'll find clearing skies, and I think we're down to about 71 degrees. It's pretty sticky overnight tonight, and then tomorrow I think we're up to 95. So tomorrow should be even hotter than today, with another 20% chance for some showers that might develop during the course of your Wednesday. All right, it's 6:59. I'm getting to the forecast. 93, triple H's, winds 3 to 8 plus. I hope everybody's on board for another hot day because it's coming. And then for today, 93 degrees in Oak Ridge, 92 in Morristown, 92 in Newport. By the way, if you haven't picked up a bottle of the all-new Brownie Batter Milk, it's available for a limited time. Check them out. Weigel's is just better when it's fresh, farm to store. In 24, it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. The all-new Brownie Batter Milk, it's delicious. It's double, triple chocolatey. It's one of those things you got to try. And if you have tried it, you might want to pick up a bottle today because they, my friends, will only keep it around for a short period of time. So make sure you have enough on stock or in stock to get you through the days and weeks ahead. But today, 93, mentioned Oak Ridge, 92 for Morristown. And if you're traveling today, mentioned the real pitfalls of heading to South Carolina. dangerous, life-threatening flooding that could be occurring in some parts of the state there. That is no joke. But tonight we're down to 71, clearing skies, patches of fog late, winds are going to be light and variable. And if you're in our Cumberland County, they'll be in the mid to upper 60s tonight. 68 Jamestown, 67 in Oneida, and 69 in Newport. It is 7:01. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. 95 tomorrow, 20% chance of some spotty showers or storms. But notice the cooling trend. It's not really cool, but it's cooler, because if you think about it, Sunday would be 10 degrees cooler than Wednesday. So 10 degrees cooler than tomorrow. Sunday is a bonus day if you're not a fan of the bad sticky hair days, because we're in the upper 50s for lows, which is considerably less humid. And for this time of year, that is a real plus. It's a bonus. It just keeps it changeable so it's not the same weather pattern each and every day. So again, thankful for you. If you've had a comment, let me know. I'll try and do my best to answer them throughout the morning. I got a note here from Janet Potts. She says, good morning, everyone. Stay safe. And please drink plenty of water. I think that's a great suggestion. I appreciate that. And Marilyn Bell's on here as well. She said, so sad for Charleston, South Carolina area. Hope they make it through this okay. Love this area. It's a beautiful area. And they've had some heavy flooding before. There's been other storms, I think, like Matthew. There's probably a whole handful of storms that have had a real impact in the southeast. But this is going to be one certainly to watch. And it's not over yet for them. That is for sure. By the way, I want to mention, thank you for your time. If you haven't tried the brownie buttermilk, I hope you do so. But maybe when you fill up your tank, you just want a hot cup of coffee, grab it as well. They have the regular milk, chocolate milk too, but make sure maybe a cool drink might be a good idea, especially if it's going to be so hot today. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate. So weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.